Tonight's game was our biggest blowout yet as Jorge continued to rip righties and Castillo's changeup came around in a big way. Welcome to Dom's Skiing Channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. The Mariners put up 14 runs on the Marlins Saturday night to even the series at 1 apiece, and I was at the game. As you can tell, my voice is a little raspy. There was a lot to cheer for. Putting up 14 runs, most we have all year. You had a position player pitching for 4 outs for the Marlins. That was incredibly entertaining. But the main 2 things to talk about is Jorge Polanco, who had a double dong, 2 homers here tonight. He had, 2 for 4, 3 runs scored with a walk. Now he's up to 354 on the season, 1,085 OPS. He's going to be an all-star if this continues. He's absolutely ripping righties because, his that left-handed swing, he's focusing on it. And he's been injured. We don't know when he's going to start swinging from the right side again and facing lefties. But so far, it's not broken, so there's no reason to fix it. The Mariners' offense is excellent right now. We are, I believe, especially after tonight, we were already top 3 in the AL in runs scored. Right up there with Boston and New York in those hitters' ballparks. But now, I was just going to look it up real quick. So we're 3rd in the MLB in runs now. In home runs. We're 3rd in the MLB in home runs, 40. Yankees have 41, Dodgers have 43. Wow, the Royals only have 13 home runs. That's insane. A lot of stats need to normalize still here, guys. So take these all with a grain of salt. Obviously, not a big sample size yet. We're still not out of April, but every game counts. Look at runs. Okay, we're not that high up in runs scored. We're 8th. We are still 3rd in the AL in runs scored at 131. Boston has 135. The Yankees have 139. Cubs lead the MLB in 171. Diamondbacks 144. Reds 142. Brewers 139. Anyway, the Giants are also ahead of us by 1 with 132. But, we're scoring a lot of runs for the team that we are, the ballpark that we play in. Not a lot of big names in this lineup, but a lot of guys coming in and performing. Rowdy only registered 1 at bat, grabbed a walk, didn't strike out. That's one thing. When Rowdy's doing well, that plate discipline isn't bad. And getting back up to a 170 average after that hot road trip, especially in Toronto, that revenge series. The 684 OPS. You really are starting to see some respectable OPSs in this lineup. Donovan Solano is the true... that's the one guy who you really haven't seen get going yet. But even he had a really nice opposite field hit late in the game. You see J.P. Crawford put up some really good at-bats, a strikeout, a walk, and then a hit. Getting on base 2 out of 5 times at the plate. You'll take that any day. He's up to 723 on the OPS. Julio's still at only 674 OPS with a 194 average. But that first pitch that Conor Gillespie threw, Julio just absolutely demolished it, hit the foul pole, bounced, I think, into the bullpen from what I saw, and man, that set the tone. Within the first 3 pitches, Julio and Jorge have gone back-to-back. Like I said earlier today, I said Jorge against right-handed pitching right now, and especially Conor Gillespie, who had these awful stats before this game. His stats are also obviously not going to get any better after this, but giving up 6 hard hits on 53 pitches, that's almost as many as his 8 swinging strikes that he had. Also, giving up the 2 homers, only 2 strikeouts to 3 walks. We're really not deceptive. 7 earned runs on him on 6 hits, 2 innings. And then the George Soriano, we got to the next reliever as well. Another bomb off of him. That was Jorge's 2nd of the night. Then you had 2 walks he gave up to only 2 strikeouts. The Marlins only registered 6 strikeouts as a team over 9 innings. So you do that, it's going to be rough. We actually only had 7. But it's interesting with Luis, moving on to Luis Castillo. Before I got to talk about a few more guys in the lineup, though. Mitch obviously got the absolute meatball from position player, second baseman Javier Sanoja, pitching in the 7th inning, right when he went in, left it over the plate, and Mitch just waved at it, put it over the left field wall for a bomb for him. Batting .227 with a 676 OPS. not so bad that you want to get him off the roster. He is showing signs of plate discipline improving too, even though struck out once, didn't walk today. Raleigh walked twice, didn't strike out. 1-for-1 with 2 walks as a Cal Raleigh stat line. It's pretty awesome. 2 runs, just even when he's not the guy hitting the homer, which he did really try to hit that homer in the first at bat after Jorge and Julio, he was swinging for the fences, ended up getting a walk out of it on 9 pitches instead. The type of measured hitting that Cal does, I'm not sure that there's 10 guys in the league better than Cal, just as not just a hitter, but presence at the plate. Plate appearances included in hitting. So Cal and Garver, great signs. I thought we were going to get, when Rowdy got hit on the hand and they were looking at him for a while, I thought he was going to come out of the game right away. You had Solano end up pinch hitting for him. Then Ben Williamson, got to give a shout out to him, 4 RBIs on the night, 2 for 5, a run scored as well. Ben Williamson's hitting .310 with a 785 OPS, making great plays at third base as well. So it's just tough to see why. It's tough to see why that would change. His expected stats aren't great. They have not registered quite yet, but his expected batting average is extremely high. So this is just a guy, you ride the hot hand while you have it, and until, his whiff, he doesn't whiff a ton, he doesn't strike out a ton. He's a really good, just such a good guy at the bottom of the order to have. And Leo Rivas and Moore getting the day off, but the team playing so well. Should expect to see both of them back in the lineup tomorrow. Moving on to Luis Castillo, 6 innings pitched, only 1 hit from Luis Castillo. Absolutely dominant. He was deceptive. Now, missing bats, he was also missing a good amount of bats. 5 strikeouts, just 2 walks on 90 pitches, with I think 18 swinging strikes, or 16. Let me go look. So, Luis had 17 on swinging strikes on 90 pitches, but the main thing that I want to focus on that made Luis so viable tonight was the fact that his changeup, and I've been talking about this for so long, if that changeup is what makes Luis Castillo great when he has it and he's on, he's a top 15 guy in baseball always. When he doesn't have it, he's one of the worst and riskiest starting pitchers that you can throw out there, especially younger. He's a lot more measured now, so he wasn't getting quite as clobbered without the changeup the last few starts when he didn't really have it. But, being at the game, I wasn't seeing him. I was like, okay, I'm waiting for him to use that changeup on a 2-strike count and really knock somebody out. He didn't do that, but the changeup didn't actually get put in play at all. No average exit velocity ratings. He threw it 16 times, the same as he threw his slider. Both of them do 6 swings, and 5 whiffs on the changeup on just 16 pitches, 3 on the slider, 3 on the sinker, and 6 on the four-seam fastball. That's how you get to 17 on 90 pitches. That is an elite starting pitcher, and that's exactly what we need going forward, especially with the news of Logan Gilbert hitting the IL for 15 days at the minimum after I made the videos today and before the game. We also had Troy Taylor back in this game, 14 pitches, got a whiff on the sweeper. Other than that, kept that average exit velocity extremely low. Marlins were waiting. I have to say the Marlins on defense made some really boneheaded, kind of plays. Not really anything against the players, but when you're down by that much, there's clearly not a great. It clearly doesn't. There's not a lot of belief. It doesn't feel like that team is going to go a lot of places. I'm not saying that on paper it should. It feels like they're playing with house money. Agustin Ramirez, who I was extremely excited to see at the plate after multi-hit efforts in his first 3 games. That average came down a little bit tonight, didn't get a hit. He was just hacking. And man, he did have 2 balls that go to the warning track that really made a sound off the bat. I'm excited for his career. But then, especially in the 9th inning, 3 pitches just hacking at whatever Taylor Saucedo was giving him. Didn't feel like this Marlins team was playing the most strategic, belief-filled baseball. And it's not hard to see why. But Troy Taylor, love those exit velocity ratings for him. Just the fact that, nobody's really squaring him up and stuff. Casey Legumina did get squared up a little bit on that four-seam and that changeup. got 4 whiffs on that 4-seamer. Couldn't really find swing and miss on anything else. And then that 4-seamer can get clobbered too. So that's what really we got to watch out for with Legumina. Although Legumina has been dominant so far this year, hasn't had any super big mistakes. It's going to be interesting to see how Legumina factors in, just going through the whole season. How many innings? Comment question of the day: how many innings is Casey Legumina going to pitch for the Seattle Mariners in 2025? Comment your guess down below. And if you don't have an idea, go look at Baseball Reference. You can look at like the 2024 Seattle Mariners and see how many innings a lot of our relievers pitched based on how good they were and stuff. Comment the question of the day: how many innings does Casey Legumina pitch for the Mariners this year? So far, he has. It's been. So he's pitched 6 innings for us so far. Had a little bit of damage that got his ERA up to 4.5 in that last start, or at least that's what it's at now. 1 whip though, 6 strikeouts in 6 innings. This is a guy who's just really looking interesting. A Gonzaga guy too, so shout out to all the Zags. I know it was Central night tonight at the ballpark, but shout out to Gonzaga alum Casey Legumina. A few more things I want to talk about. Gillespie, it's just amazing that 8 swings on 53, 8 whiffs on 53 pitches. But if you were watching this game, that tells the story. He just wasn't deceptive at all. He gets a good amount of induced vertical break on the 4-seam fastball, 18 on the average. Not a lot of horizontal break on it, but it's not what you want from a 4-seam fastball anyway. Even though he's inducing a lot of vertical break, this fastball was getting clobbered. 105.3 mile an hour average exit velocity. Lost that early in the night. Felt like he couldn't throw it. Only threw 15 of those. Then started to do sweepers, 13 of those. Changeups, 13 of those. Cutters, 11 of those. And 1 curveball. It felt like he was moving to that cutter in the later innings as he just realized he didn't have the 4-seam. There is some whiffs in this profile, so it'll be interesting to see if this guy rebounds. This was just the start where I don't think he had his fastball and had to maybe just switch to this cutter for a lifeline. That's pretty interesting. And then, it was funny to watch Javier Sanoja pitch. First position player pitching this year in Mariners game. Troy Taylor looked good. We covered that. Saucedo's back with the club. 12 pitches to get a clean 9th inning. 1 strikeout, 1 hit though. And then I think that's the main stuff I want to cover for today's game. Just absolute performance all the way around from, hitting, obviously best offensive game of the year. From the hitting to the base running. Really pulled it a lot today, especially off Gillespie. Julio's homer pulled down the foul line off the foul pole. You had Polanco's first homer pulled right into the kind of a laser shot into the seats. And then you had the other first inning RBI hits. You had I think it was Mastroboni and I want to say it was Mastroboni and Crawford maybe. Yeah, Mastroboni double. But anyway, those other 2 hits were right down the line as well. Tons of hitting down the line today. That's extremely encouraging to see us being able to pull it on a hotter day, hotter night in Seattle. Moving on to tomorrow's game, which I really am looking forward to. This pitching matchup kind of comes at you quick, and now you're like, oh, this might be the most interesting pitching matchup of the weekend, simply because the Marlins are trotting out Max Meyer, who has looked dominant so far. Had 14 strikeouts, tying, is the second most in Marlins history, his last time out. So looking at him, Max Meyer, former top prospect, 3rd overall pick. and looking at his profile, that elite strikeout percentage, one of the top in baseball, but he gets clobbered 94 mile an hour average exit velocity. That's also top 1 percentile. Top 1 percentile in how hard people are hitting against him, and then hard hit percentage, 45.8. That's also cold. It's also pretty bad. The ex-WOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging, all really good for Max Meyer though. And then he hasn't been walking guys, which has been his trouble in the past. If we can walk, control the zone, and just make Max Meyer throw more pitches, I think that's going to be his downfall. Not saying we will do it, we won't, but it'll be interesting. Also seeing that he's another righty. You should see Polanco back in there. We'll see if more Rivas gets a day back in there if you go with the same lineup with how well it did. Eugene want to win this series and get our 6th straight series win, I believe. 5 or 6, I can't. Anyway, breaking ball run value is actually 100. Fastball run value is only 41 right now, and then off speed is 83. Average exit velocity gets clobbered. Everything else is looking pretty good for Max Meyer so far. And that's just been the story through his career as well. As far as the launch angle, he's kept that launch angle down. So he is pitching into contact a little more, preventing, not to say he's actually preventing those homers because the average exit velocity is bad, but quality of contact does take a long time to normalize, so I won't analyze that too much. The main thing is that the strikeout percentage has jumped from 18.5% last year, 33.9% this year. That's top 7% of MLB. 23.1% is rookie year. But 34% strikeout rate. That's pretty insane. To strike out every 3 batters, it's a lot. Expected ERA is down at 3.2, whereas the other years though it was 4.74 and 5.42. So it shows he's clearly doing something right, and the ERA is at 2.10. So he's outperforming it, but it looks like everything he's doing is very warranted. Baseball Savant compares him to 2025 Jacob deGrom, 2024 Peter Lambert, 2024 David Festa, 2024 Antonio Senzatella, and 2025 Jack Kohanowitz on velocity and movement. So what is really the thing that is going to make him so good this season? Is he going to really have this all-star year? Kind of similar to a Trevor Rogers from a few years back in 2021. Then on quality of contact takes a long time to normalize, but Max Meyer. Then Logan Evans. I want to talk about overall Max Meyer, guy who could be like an ace. He had that prospect pedigree. He got this elite strikeout percentage. If you can just keep that exit velocity down, he should be golden. And then Logan Evans. So Logan Evans' career in the minors, 3.05 ERA, 42 games pitched, 32 games started. He became a starter, I believe. 6'4", 215. So he's a pretty big guy. And that's almost like Garrett Crochet, but taller. Now he doesn't have any pitches rated above a 55, but he has a lot of pitches that seem to be pretty good. He does all of it with solid athleticism on the mound, and delivery he repeats, so he can throw all of his pitches for strikes. Also gets good extension with 6'4" frame that helps his stuff play up. May never be a big time bat misser, but his very full repertoire should at least give him a shot at the back end of a big league rotation soon. So he has his shot now at the back end of a big league rotation. The question is, even though he might never become, a big time bat misser, can he get by, with what he's got so far? He's got more pitches. Last year he only had the fastball, slider, and cutter. Now he has fastball, slider, curveball, cutter, changeup. As with Bryce Miller, right? He had 3 pitches that I think were really good. Now he has a lot more. It's netting better results even if he doesn't look dominant during the starts. So Logan Evans, I'm hoping for some sort of Bryce Miller scenario. None of his individual offerings jump off the page, but he might be able to kick it and sink himself. Is he a sinker, slider, tinker guy? No, he doesn't have a sinker, thankfully. So Oh, no, he does have a two-seamer. Shoot. 5 or 6 pitches. So, yeah. I'm worried about having a sinker guy in a hot day game. Just in general, the Marlins lineup is so bad. But Agustin Ramirez, he's going to be hacking. So, if he does connect, and our offense struggles, which could happen on any given day, you never know. That being said, tomorrow I'll give you guys my predictions. I'm going to have... I'm going to have Jorge Polanco hit another home run because try and stop them right now. I'm not saying Connor Gillespie was a layup. I think now, Jorge Polanco hitting a homer against Max Meyer. I wouldn't bet on it the same way. I would bet on him having a really good day at the plate for sure. But I'm willing to put, that's my guy for tomorrow. I'm going to say it's going to be a closer game, but not too much. Let's go 6-1. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's game recap. This is the first time I've done it after the game that same day. Usually I do one video in between the games before the next game when that lineup is out. So it's kind of I can do the post game and the preview, but I want to see, if you guys like this. So let me know what you guys think of doing this. And then, comment question of the day. How many innings does Casey Legumina throw for the Seattle Mariners this year? For reference, 2024 Seattle Mariners. I'll give you guys my prediction too, so you can. Last year, you had some guys go 40. Colin Snyder led it with 41.2. Edward Bizardo led it. Was next with 27.2 innings. Gabe Spider 23.2, Chagua 19.2, Troy Taylor 19.1. So that's just an example of how much some relievers go. I'm gonna put the over on it. I'm gonna say 24.1 innings for Casey Legumina. That's 2 more outs than Gabe Spider got last year. That's kind of a lot. I hate to change my mind. I'm going to go more kind of spitballing at this point. I hope we don't need as many innings out of these relievers, but I'm going to go 19. So that would be 1 more than Cody Bolton last year and 1 less than Troy Taylor last year. I think that's kind of the range you see Legumina in, but, also I want to ask about Casey Legumina. How many times, do you think he gets called up, sent down? Thoughts on him? Just the type of guy, we might as well discuss him now. Anyway, that is going to do it for tonight's game recap. Let me know what you think of the recap after the game. Obviously, we're rambling a little bit tired. Just got home. But, I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, for the next one. Peace out. Go M's.